Hello and welcome to In Depth. I'm Tina Jha. Indian-American real estate veteran Sandeep Mathrani has been named the Chief Executive Officer of WeWork, a co-sharing workspace company in the United States. Just days before, another Indian, Arvind Krishna, was appointed global CEO of one of the world's biggest IT firms, IBM. Both Mathrani and Krishna join a long list of Indian-origin business executives who are leading top firms across the globe. In this edition of In Depth, we talk about the Indian-origin CEOs who are ruling the world, especially those serving in the technology industry, the biggest examples being Google and Microsoft. The two giants in the market who are shaping the world and are headed by CEOs of Indian origin. Besides, we'll also explore the various reasons and qualities of the Indian executives that make them eligible to occupy top slots in global firms. India is establishing its dominance all over Silicon Valley like never before. American IT giant IBM tapped Arvind Krishna as its next CEO last week, and this week, WeWork confirmed that it hired Sandeep Mathrani as its new Chief Executive Officer. The latest appointments mark the ascendance of two more Indians to the top posts of some of the largest companies in the world. Both Krishna and Mathrani join a growing club of Indian CEOs that now includes Microsoft's Satya Nadella, Alphabet Inc.'s Sundar Pichai, and Adobe's Shantanu Narayan, among others.
Scaling corporate heights, Indian-origin CEOs are heading major companies in the world. The latest entrants to this elite club are Arvind Krishna and Sandeep Mathrani. While Arvind Krishna has been handed the reins of one of the world's biggest tech firms, IBM, American commercial real estate company WeWork named Sandeep Mathrani as its new chief executive. Realty ace Mathrani will take over as head of WeWork's parent, the We Company. Mathrani was previously chief executive of Brookfield Property Partners Retail Group. Reportedly, Mathrani, an Indian American, will join the company in the coming weeks.
We already have a tradition of Indians heading such corporations. Now there is one more joining in that illustrated list, one more feather in the cap of India. Apart from the very well-known people also, there are many other Indians who are heading global multinational corporations. So one more Indian joining that we should all be proud of, because this is going to help in improving India's stature in the growing world. People see that Indian is head of Google and Indian is head of Microsoft. So an Indian plays a very important role in a big multinational corporation like Coca-Cola. So all this adds to India's image and India's clout worldwide. So this is very good for India. More and more Indians should become heads of multinational corporations and make us proud.
Meanwhile, IBM too added to the roster of Indian origin executives leading some of the foremost technology companies in the world. The American IT giant selected Arvind Krishna as its next CEO last week. IIT Kanpur alumnus Krishna will lead the 108-year-old American company from April 6th. His elevation to the top mark is yet another instance of an India-born IT leader heading a top company. Krishna is currently IBM's Senior Vice President for Cloud and Cognitive Software and will succeed 62-year-old Virginia Rometty, who will retire after almost 40 years with the company at the end of the year. Rometty, who had been IBM's chairman, president and CEO, will continue as executive chairman of the board and serve through the end of the year when she will retire. Born in Andhra Pradesh, 57-year-old Arvind Krishna had joined IBM in 1990 and has an undergraduate degree from IIT Kanpur and a PhD in electrical engineering from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. He led the company's $34 billion acquisition of open-source enterprise software company Red Hat in 2018, a deal that was the biggest in IBM's history and on which a lot of IBM's future rides. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Besides Arvind Krishna and Sandeep Mathrani, there are more than a dozen Indians running some of the world's biggest and best companies. So here's a list of the top executives heading global organizations and making India proud. Be it technology, banking, venture capital funds, MNCs or any other sector, an increasing number of Indians are now heading business verticals. Indian origin CEOs are accelerating business growth even at a time when the world economy is slowing down. Indian origin CEOs are now leading tech companies that together command an estimated market capitalization of nearly 2.7 trillion US dollars. Some prominent names that figure in this list of top CEOs of Indian origin are Chennai-born Sundar Pichai, who took charge of Google's parent Alphabet last December after co-founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin stepped down. Pichai has been Google CEO since 2015 and continues to head the company. An alumnus of IIT Kharagpur, Pichai joined Google in 2004. Over the years, he led product management and innovation for the tech giant's client software products such as Google Chrome and Chrome OS, and oversaw the development of Gmail and Google Maps. Hyderabad-born Satya Nadella has been CEO of Microsoft since 2014. Associated with the company for 22 years, Nadella was responsible for building and running Microsoft's computing platforms. Born into a humble Telugu family, Satya Nadella worked at Sun Microsystems before shifting gears at Microsoft. He holds a bachelor's degree in computer engineering from Hyderabad and MS in computer science from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Hyderabad-born Shantanu Narayan has been CEO and chairman of Adobe Inc. since 2007. After earning a bachelor's degree from Osmania University in Hyderabad, Narayan achieved an MBA from the University of California, Berkeley. He joined Adobe Systems in January 1998 as Vice President and General Manager. He took over as President and COO in 2005. 2 years later, in 2007, he was elevated to the position of Chief Executive Officer and became a director on the company's board. Narayan, who started his career at Apple, also serves on the board of Dell Inc. and the advisory board of the Haas School of Business, University of California at Berkeley. He was honored with India's civilian honor, the Padma Shri, in 2019. Ajay Pal Singh Banga is the President and Chief Executive Officer of MasterCard. Born to retired Indian Lieutenant General Harbhajan Singh Banga, Ajay Banga has been a pioneer for MasterCard since the 1990s. After leading them as their President and COO, Banga was announced as the CEO in April 2010. An alumni of the Indian Institute of Management Ahmedabad and also Delhi University, he has also been chairman of the US-India Business Council. British consumer goods major Reckitt Benckiser appointed PepsiCo's Lakshman Narasimhan as its global CEO in September 2019. Narasimhan is the second Indian to be appointed to the position at the firm. A Pune University graduate with an MA in German and International Studies and an MBA in Finance, both from the University of Pennsylvania, he was named Chief Commercial Officer at PepsiCo in March 2019. Sanjay Mehrotra, who is currently the President and Chief Executive Officer at Micron Technology, joined the company in May 2017. He earlier served at SanDisk Corporation, where he led the company from a startup in 1988 to its eventual sale in 2016. Hailing from Delhi, he is an alumni of BITS Pilani and has a master's degree in electrical engineering and computer sciences from the University of California, Berkeley. Kerala-born George Kurian is the Chief Executive Officer and President at NetApp. He is also a member of the board of the company. He joined in 2011 and was named CEO of the company in 2015. Kurian has earlier worked as Vice President at Akamai Technologies, Management Consulting at McKinsey & Company, and also Oracle Corporation. He holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in Electrical Engineering from Princeton University and an MBA from Stanford University. Rajiv Suri, born in New Delhi and raised in Kuwait, he has been the CEO of Nokia Inc. since April 2014.
After working for a conglomerate running across India and Nigeria, Suri joined Nokia in 1995. Based in Finland, Suri is a Singaporean citizen and is an alumni of the Manipal Institute of Technology. Jayashree Ulal has been the president and CEO of cloud networking company Arista Networks since 2008. Though she was born in London, she was raised in New Delhi. Ulal is a graduate in electrical engineering from San Francisco State University. She holds a master's degree in engineering management, also from the San Francisco State University. In addition to these, there are several other Indians heading the CEO of PepsiCo from 2006 to 2018, a 24-year tenure at the snack and beverage company. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Time for a short break here on the program, but when we return, we'll talk about the qualities of the Indian executives that make them eligible for top slots in these global companies. Do stay with us.
From our very childhood, we had been hearing the names like Tashkent, names like Samarkand, names like Bukhara. How are they now?
These cities are attracting more and more tourists from all over the world, including from India.
What type of Islam is being practiced in Uzbekistan?
It's one of the most tolerant societies in the world.
How you are preparing investment climate in Uzbekistan?
The investment climate in Uzbekistan is one of the most attractive.
Watch Indian Standard Time, exclusive interview of Farhat Arjio, Ambassador of Uzbekistan, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching In Depth. So the question is, do Indian origin managers have any special characteristics that make them attractive as CEOs of foreign companies? Our next story attempts to answer this very question.
How do so many Indian managers manage to occupy top slots abroad? It is a question that's invariably asked when an NRI is appointed a CEO of a multinational. While no doubt individual skills, abilities and hard work are the key, Indian CEOs everywhere in the world carry some essential attributes of Indian culture that make them so valuable to their companies.
So I think it adds to the general view that one, the Indian American community is probably one of the most successful minorities in present-day United States, often compared to the Jewish community. Second, it consolidates that inside at least the tech industry, that the view that Indians or people of Indian origin are unusually successful and accomplished in both technological side of it, but also most importantly on the managerial side and administrative side of running such companies. And finally, I would add that it's noticeable that this is largely an American phenomenon. Almost no other country, definitely in the non-English speaking world, virtually no other country has seen so much success by Indians in the corporate sphere. And this, I think, shows to large extent the openness of the United States, both at the corporate and at the social level, to the contribution of Indians.
It starts with India's multilinguistic culture, where anywhere in the country people grow up to speak or read and write at least 3 languages: their mother tongue at home, English and Hindi at school, and the language of their friends and immediate society. According to experts, such exposure makes them effective communicators. Observers and management gurus also find great merit in the fact that Indian culture inculcates a basic humility that respects other points of view and makes negotiation an essential trait to get things done. Besides this, India is a robust functioning democracy where many things happen simultaneously. While it can be overwhelming for others, it exposes Indians to ambiguity. It's precisely the kind of world that corporate leaders confront daily when they constantly make decisions in real time in a world with many unknowns. India's multicultural environment also finds resonance in modern corporations. Indians are comfortable with such environments where they operate without inbuilt bias to any particular person or group in the workplace due to differences in culture. It makes them embrace diversity and provide leadership for a diverse workforce that today has become an inalienable fact of companies. Also, Indians have a willingness to make a home wherever they need to. Taking up work in a new state within India is a common phenomenon for all strata of people. It is not very different from settling down as an immigrant in a foreign land. Compared to Europe, China, Russia, or even Japan, Indians have a resilience and adaptability that not many South Asian people can boast of. Most of all, Indians can also value people while accepting change and uncertainty. They are equipped to change their strategies by accommodating and updating new data. With inputs from Kunal Singh, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Becoming a CEO is the greatest leap that an executive can make in his or her career. What makes it such an extraordinary transition, of course, is the complexity of the role and the skill that is required to manage that complexity successfully. So what exactly do CEOs have that other leaders don't? Let's find out in this report.
For many high-achieving professionals, the ultimate career goal is to become a chief executive officer of a multinational corporation. While anyone who climbs the corporate ladder or starts their own company can hold the title, it takes an outstanding type of leader to truly embody what it means to be a CEO. It is the most powerful and sought-after title in the corporate world, with a CEO's decisions sometimes accounting for 45% of a company's performance. So what are the must-have qualities for a CEO? Let's take a look at some of them. To be a CEO, a person needs vision. They also need to be able to compellingly communicate that vision to inspire, motivate, and lead others to contribute to the company's success. The CEO is the decision maker when it comes to setting a company's vision, including where it wants to be in 5, 10, or 15 years. Good CEOs do this by considering the mandate and expectations of all stakeholders. Successful CEOs also seem to have boundless energy, coming to work every day with the greatest enthusiasm. They take good physical and emotional care of themselves so that they can be there for the employees and the needs of the company. According to McKinsey research, 5 bold strategic moves best correlate with success: resource reallocation, programmatic mergers, acquisitions and divestitures, capital expenditure, productivity improvements, and differentiation improvements. Agility is one of the most widely used and misunderstood management buzzwords of the past decade. For many leaders, agility evokes speed in decision-making and execution as opposed to the deliberate pace dictated by the stable, standardized routines of large organizations. Excellent CEOs increase their company's agility by determining which features of their organizational design will be stable and unchanging. They do that by creating dynamic elements that adapt quickly to new challenges and opportunities. The best CEOs also take special care to ensure their management team performs strongly as a unit. The reward for doing so is real. Top teams that work together toward a common vision are 1.9 times more likely to deliver above median financial performance. The CEO is the nucleus of a company's culture. Their strengths, values, and personal struggles are reflected through the organizations as a whole. Emotionally intelligent leaders are necessary for emotionally intelligent companies. Research has shown that things we typically associate with a successful CEO, such as charisma, extroversion, a clean background, quality education, high self-confidence, gender, and a high IQ, are not predictors of exceptional CEO performance. Rather, great CEOs all exemplify certain behaviors that can be cultivated by anyone. With inputs from Kunal Singh, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And that's it from us in this edition of In Depth. We'll be back same time tomorrow now with a focus on some other subject of current significance. In case you missed the television broadcast, you can also watch it online on YouTube and Twitter. And you can also write to us about giving us your feedback and suggestions about the program. Thank you for your time.